Boston, January 17th, 1950. A frozen night and a building that would soon become the center of America's biggest mystery. At 7:27 p.m., a silent alarm failed to ring. By 7:42, 11 men had vanished into the night with what would be worth over $30 million today. No gunfire, no fingerprints, just a vanished truck. And a city that couldn't believe what had just happened. This wasn't just a robbery, it was a message that even the safest place in America could bleed. This is the Great Brinks robbery, a story of precision, paranoia, and betrayal. 3 years earlier, a man named Anthony Pino was looking for a job big enough to change his life. That search eventually led him to the Brinks building. Once it was on his radar, Pino began documenting everything: guard routines, shift changes, delivery patterns, and day-to-day security habits. After months of observation, he reached a simple conclusion: Brinks wasn't perfect. It could be breached. Pino couldn't do it alone, so he started building a team. He reached out to men he trusted, not for loyalty, but for skill. There was Joseph McGinnis, the respected underworld veteran, Specs O'Keefe, the enforcer, James Fats Faherty, the robber who never missed his mark, Stanley Gushora, the tough hand with lethal calm. And then came the others: Costa, Maffei, Keegan, Baker, Richardson, and Banfield, each one chosen for a specific purpose. And for 3 long years, they prepared. They studied every hallway, every lock. They stole key cylinders, made duplicates, and returned them before sunrise. Even the Brinks guards had no idea their fortress was already breached. For nearly 2 years, the city became their stage. They stole a Ford truck, identical to Brinks's own fleet. They practiced their route through Boston's narrow alleys, timing every stoplight, every turn, every possible escape. They attempted the job 5 times. Each time something went wrong. But on January 17th, 1950, everything aligned. The streets were cold, the city was quiet, and the plan was perfect. At 7:10 p.m., 11 shadows slipped through the Brinks doorway. No gunfire, no alarms. Guards were bound and gagged with surgical precision. Keys turned, locks opened, and in less than 35 minutes, the vault was stripped clean. $1.2 million in cash, $1.5 million in checks, $30 million in today's money, gone without a trace. When the guards freed themselves, the robbers were ghosts. The truck vanished into the night. The city slept, unaware that history's perfect crime had just taken place. By dawn, the Brinks building swarmed with police. What they found was almost insulting. Nothing. No prints, no shell casings, just a roll of tape, a hat, and a rubber mask. It was like the thieves had evaporated, but ghosts leave shadows. A week later, a rusted gun was found by the Mystic River. Then, truck fragments surfaced in a junkyard in Stoughton. Each clue led to one name: Specs O'Keefe. But with no witnesses and no hard proof, the suspects walked free. The FBI had theories. The gang had silence. The score remained buried. Months passed. Then came the mistake. O'Keefe and Gushora were arrested in Pennsylvania on another burglary. While they sat in prison, the FBI noticed something unusual. Their letters weren't going to family. They were writing to the same men long suspected in the Brinks case: Pino, McGinnis, Baker. The FBI reopened the file. As agents reviewed timelines, one pattern stood out. Every suspect had a 17-minute hole in their alibi, the same 17 minutes it took to empty the vault. Still, without hard evidence, the investigation stalled again. And if the FBI didn't crack it in time, the gang would walk free forever. But silence was never O'Keefe's strong suit. From behind bars, he demanded his share of the loot. When his partners ignored him, he lashed out. He kidnapped Vincent Costa, held him for ransom. Costa survived, but O'Keefe's fate was sealed. He became the crew's biggest threat. The hit came fast. 2 drive-by attempts, both failed. O'Keefe lived, scarred and furious. When he was later arrested for carrying a gun, the FBI saw their chance. They offered him a deal. January 1956. Almost 6 years since the heist. And then O'Keefe broke. The countdown ended 11 days before freedom. On January 12, 1956, Pino, McGinnis, Maffei, Baker, Keegan and Costa, all arrested. Faherty and Richardson followed within days. Banfield was already dead. Gus Cura died behind bars. By summer, the courtroom was packed. O'Keefe took the stand, sealing their fate. Life in prison for everyone but him. He walked with 4 years, the price of betrayal. The perfect crime had finally collapsed. But even with the case closed, one mystery lingered. Months later, a man in Baltimore was caught passing counterfeit bills. The serial numbers traced straight back to Brinks hidden behind a wall panel. Investigators found stacks of moldy bills. About $60,000. But over $1 million was still missing. Some say it's buried somewhere in Massachusetts. Others whisper it was quietly spent, dollar by dollar, long ago. 75 years later, the Brinks money may still be out there, a fortune waiting beneath Boston's frozen soil. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to unleash and explore more untold stories and hidden truths.